Today we're going to cover how you can understand your pre-ACT results. You took the pre-ACT earlier this semester, and your homeroom teacher should have handed out your individualized score reports as well as a copy of the test booklet. It's not just a pre-ACT score. So when you look at your score report, and we're going to go over each of these things, it will give you your pre-ACT score, your predicted ACT scores, where you stand for college and career readiness benchmarks, and then detailed sub-score results in math, science, English, and reading. You also will receive an item response analysis, so it'll say what answer you selected, and then the correct answer will be provided as well. And then you'll also get improvement suggestions on what you can work on to increase your score for when you take it as a junior and again as a senior. So for the pre-ACT, it's shorter than the actual ACT. There were fewer questions and then less time for each test. The pre-ACT score ranges from a 1 to a 35. The actual ACT, the score ranges from a 1 to a 36. So your scores will be between 1 and 35. Pre-ACT takes the number of questions you got right on each test and then translates it into a number between 1 and 35. So we call your raw score how many questions you got correct, and then your scale score is on the scale of 1 to 35. So just like grades, your scores tell you how well you did on each test. You should have 6 different scores on your score report. The first one would be your composite. That's the average of the English, math, reading, and science test scores. And then you have sub-scores for math and science, then a STEM score, which is the average of math and science together, and then finally you have an English sub-score and a reading sub-score. When you look at your student report, it shows you your pre-ACT composite and then for each individual subtest and then the STEM. Look at your score sheet right now and see how you did. You can also see the ACT College Readiness Benchmarks. So it's a gray line and then it has a number next to it. For math, it's a 22, science is a 23, English is an 18, and reading is a 22. So those benchmarks are indicators of how prepared you are for college. So if you reach the benchmark, then you are 50% likely to have a B or higher in your first year college courses, and then a 75% chance or higher of obtaining a C in your first year college courses. So the goal is to reach benchmark in each subject area, but that's the benchmark for the actual ACT. So if you're close to it, that's great. Between your junior and senior year, you'll get the content knowledge you need from your classes and learn more skills to help you reach those benchmarks. You should also see your predicted ACT composite score range. So your pre-ACT scores can be used to predict how likely you are to reach a specific score on the actual ACT as a junior. And this will tell you if you are on track to achieve scores you want by the time you take the ACT later. So you'll take it in the spring of your junior year and the fall of your senior year. Why does your ACT score matter? So ACT scores are used for general admission into colleges, universities, and technical schools, and then those scores can also be used for admission into certain programs of study. So if you want to go into nursing, then you need a certain math and science score. So it's not just for admission into college, but specific programs. The higher your ACT score, the more scholarship money you can receive. It's a direct correlation. And your ACT scores can also determine your placement into high school and college courses. So for sophomores, if you had a certain pre-ACT score, then you were most likely called in to meet with some teachers about being placed into honors or AP English and history. And then some colleges, universities, and technical schools will exempt you from classes based on your ACT score. So for example, if you have a 28 in English, then you might be able to be exempt from taking English Composition 1 when you get to college. So what if you're not planning on going to college? That's okay. If you're applying to a military academy, they also require an ACT or SAT score to consider admission. Technical schools have their own ACT requirements for specific program admission, and then, like we said, community colleges may use your ACT score to help place you in classes or admit you to the program you are applying for. When you look at your detailed pre-ACT results, it has each subject area, and then there are categories underneath that subject area. And it tells you how many questions you got right for each category and the percent of questions you answered correctly. So there's a bar graph showing you that. And that's for math, English, science, and reading. So the bar graph is just helping give you a visualization of which subjects were your strongest and your weakest. And then looking at your areas of strength and weakness can help you know what you need to study and prepare for the ACT next year when you take it. On the back of your student report, there's something called Ideas for Progress. So these are specific ideas that are recommended to you to help build your skills and knowledge even further for each subject area. So those are individualized just for you based on the score that you made in each subject area. When you look at those, it will help you target your studying so that you can get a better score on the ACT. You can also show those to your teachers, and they can help you target those areas of weakness to increase your skill set. You can review the answers you gave to each question on the pre-ACT by looking at your item response analysis and then looking back at the ACT booklet, the pre-ACT booklet, to see what you selected and why it was incorrect. So this is a really helpful study tool because then you can figure out what your thinking was for the question and then how you can correct your thinking for when you take the pre-ACT again, or the ACT. So what do you do now? You can attend ACT tutoring sessions. They're offered in the Upper Media Center before each ACT test date. When we have JCHS lessons, you can select your own lessons to complete each time we meet. So use your ideas for progress in those identified areas of weakness to help you choose which lessons to complete to build your skill set. You can ask your teachers to help you, and then you can actually take the real ACT. So you already know that you're going to be able to take it in the spring of your junior year and the fall of your senior year for free. You can also take it on national test days, and those are always on Saturdays. The high school is a national testing site, so you can take it in a really familiar area with people who can provide a safe and secure testing environment. If you receive free and reduced lunch, you can also qualify for 2 additional testing vouchers to take the ACT for free. So that's 4 opportunities if you are on free and reduced lunch to help you take a test to get scholarship money so that you can afford to go to college and be successful. Here are some additional free online study resources: the ACT.org, March to Success, Union Test Prep, Learning Express Hub, the Princeton Review, and Kaplan Test Prep. If you have questions about your score report or you want additional help preparing for the ACT, you can contact a teacher on the ACT data team. So Dr. Andrew Alder is in room 117, Ms. Shannon Bowler is in room 211, Ms. Brandy Arnold is in room 423, Ms. Melanie Hodge is in room 428, Ms. Connie James is in room 311, and then Ms. Emily Schultz is in room 224. I also listed their email addresses so you can email them to get in touch with them if you need additional help.